Hi everyone. Well, while I was sick with the norovirus, I missed some pretty interesting stuff. Um, Gosh, where to start? So this is gonna be one video of two, at least two. Maybe I'll do three. But oh man, let me just get to this, and I've got blur on the gray boxes just because I don't want people to know any of my details. Okay, so what happened about a day ago, March 3rd, 2019 at 2 p.m. There was a live stream by GLOBEBUSTERS, and they had Nathan Oakley on. And the funny thing is, the irony of it is, it's not that, it's just, I don't know if I could call it funny. Ironic, irony is kind of funny in a way, but what happened is GLOBEBUSTERS, they were on Bob Nodell. He was on a documentary called Behind the Curve, where they edited the video on a failed experiment, which was not even an experiment that they did. He incidentally proved that the Earth was rotating. He should win a Nobel Prize for it. That's what people are saying. Yeah, flat earther proved the Earth is rotating by using a gyroscope in a pseudo experiment. Anyways, so GLOBEBUSTERS has on Nathan Oakley to ask him what was wrong, what they did wrong, and how not to have that happen again. So Nathan goes on and tells them what it is, what they did wrong, and also explains to him, science, what an experiment is, and they weren't listening, because right after they go, okay, we got you, Nathan. Now, next thing I'm gonna show you is something called the Sagnac experiment. And then Nathan's like, whoa, no, it's not an experiment. Just because it says it's an experiment doesn't mean it is an experiment. And actually, it was, the correct term is like the Sagnac effect. Before I go there, here, I wish you could see the full video of it. Again, I wish I was just not sick. I would have been recording it at that moment, because when you live stream, you can still go back a ways, unless you have it set as specific thing. But you see, so if you click on it, GLOBEBUSTERS took it down, so you can't go back and watch. That's what I hate about live streams. You can just take things down on your own. If you have to take down your own video, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong already, and you're not going to fess up to it. So, and I guess I can get rid of the backgrounds now. So what happens is, Nathan gets riled up because the GLOBEBUSTERS and whoever else was on keeps repeating the same thing. But, no, semantics. No, you're putting words in my mouth. It's like the exact thing that you would hear. What would go on in Nathan Oakley's debates with the globers, or globeheads as he calls them, would go in and they won't understand what science is. And it's really weird. And so Nathan Oakley leaves because there's an opening, and it's like, Bob goes, this is my show, if you're gonna cut me off, except they kept cutting off Nathan, that you might as well leave. And then he left. And then after that, he goes ahead and proceeds to show the Sagnac effect. I, I, I look. I don't know if that's right. Yeah, the Sagnac effect. Exactly, is what he shows. He shows a video of the Sagnac effect, but on the thing it says the Sagnac experiment. Now let me see if I could find the full video of what he might have shown. No, I don't see it. I mean, it's... Oh, this might be it. Fox Boulder, oh my goodness. Yeah, he showed, I think he showed this one exactly. This is what Bob Nodell showed. The Sagnac experiment, an animated explanation by Malcolm Bowden. So he proceeds to go ahead and show this when he's already been told that by Nathan Oakley it's not an experiment. And it was just clusterfuck. At any rate, if you watch Nathan Oakley's Flat Earth Debate 741 Uncut and After Show, I'm going to play back this portion, 5330, but I'm going to show the beginning where someone else explains it as well. He was watching. Here's the thing that I wouldn't say I don't. I'd make response videos, but this is more of a bear witness that it happened video. And a lot of people saw the video live. Sorry, my stomach's not feeling very good. I'll go and play it back, and then I'll go back to 5330. Okay.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use Wikibuy.
Damn that commercial. Why is Wikibuy everywhere? Fucking Wikibuy.
With other sellers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Today I am doing a video as part of My Thoughts, the series on My Thoughts. Today's show is about GLOBEBUSTERS. It's about today's show, in fact. Today is Sunday, March 3rd, 2019. Okay, I was watching that show today, and there's a lot of controversy going on right now with this Behind the Curve documentary that came out. There's a lot of buzz going around that Bob Nodell of FE Core was talking about, doing some tests and discovering a 15-degree rotation, which everyone is saying that is Earth spin. So that is the controversy going on right now. So Nathan Oakley was asked to come on the show so that he could help them understand the scientific method and to show them where they went wrong with these tests that they were doing. So Nathan came on the show and he put together a very nice presentation about the scientific method and how it worked. And he was trying to explain to them that what they did in their test was not scientific. And he did an amazing job of explaining that to them. I mean, it was very, very good, very well thought out, very well spoken. So after he finished, Bob Nodell and his FE Core crew basically started doing the same exact thing that got him into trouble in the first place. They started talking about experiments that weren't experiments, science that wasn't science. And Nathan kept trying to tell them, guys, you're not hearing what I'm saying here, because I just finished explaining to you what you are calling science isn't science. Bob brought up a presentation about that experiment, Sagnac experiment, and Nathan was explaining to them that that's not an experiment. That's men in white coats making declarations. Just because somebody is in a white coat and makes a declaration for flat Earth, that doesn't mean that people that Wait a minute, let me say that again. Just because people make declarations, they have lab coats on and they make declarations on the globe side, that doesn't make them correct. But what also is not correct is people on the flat earth side in white coats making declarations. What Nathan was trying to explain to them is that the Sanyak experiment wasn't really an experiment. Just because it benefited flat earth, it still wasn't valid. In other words, what's not valid on one side is still not valid on the other side. Now, this seems to have upset Bob because Bob wants his cake. You understand? So the irony of today's show was that Nathan was there to basically help him. You see, if Bob would have understood the scientific method, he would have never gotten himself into this mess in the first place. So Nathan comes on the show to help him understand why he got himself into this mess. Now, you would think that Bob would be grateful for that, but that didn't happen. He basically ended up telling Nathan off, basically. You don't come on my show and you don't do this and you don't, and Nathan basically just left the show, which I don't blame him. In that particular instance, I don't blame him. So, but the irony is that Nathan was there to help you, and you turned on him and proceeded. You basically proceeded to push the idea that you messed up, made a mistake, and now you're doubling down on that mistake. Listen, I've watched a lot of videos since that happened, and there's a lot of people screaming for Bob, get out of flat earth, you don't represent us, you're a shill, you work for Globe, and I'm listening to all of this stuff, and I was basically, I was really feeling bad for Bob. I was like, man, the whole world's done turned on this guy, that's really a rough place to be. And I'm thinking, he's taking it on the chin, he's not letting it bother him. He's still hanging in there. He's still going to do his thing. And, but after what I saw today, that display that I saw today, Bob, you have no idea the damage that you just did to yourself with that display. I was in the chat. I was on the show in the chat, and I was saying, Bob, you're your worst enemy. Next thing you know, I'm blocked. Now, there was all kinds of stuff going on in the chat, talking about, Bob, you're wrong, Bob, you're this, you're that. But nobody was getting, timed out and blocked, but I was cut right out of there, which is fine. I mean, that's how that goes. But I don't understand what's happening here. I feel bad for Nathan because, like I said, Nathan was really... He did an excellent job. He was really proud of the fact that he was going to go on that show and make sense of what science has done. Globe science has totally butchered the scientific method. And what Bob Nodell did today is said, I'm going to butcher the scientific method too. I have to. I'm invested in this now. We've got ring laser gyros. We bought them. This one guy just invented one. You just invented something. You made something that you are going to call scientific. You are going to rely on this homemade device. Excuse me, that's I live right by the river. That's one of those jet skis. If you hear that flying by the window, I'll just pause for a second. But anyway, see, this is what happens. What the GLOBEBUSTERS are doing is they are now being globe promoters because they have so much invested. Just like real globe people, they've got so much invested in 2,000 years of indoctrination and textbooks that they can't turn back. And now what Bob Nodell and GLOBEBUSTERS and FE Core is doing, they got so much invested now, they can't turn back. So now they get triggered. Now all of a sudden, when you start speaking against what they're doing, now they're getting upset because they've got one goal in mind. They've got one goal in mind, and what they're doing. They don't care about the results. You understand? In other words, this is what I'm saying. When you conduct science, you're going to discover something. You're not going to prove your point. See, this is what Jaron and Bob and Effie Core and all these guys are doing. They're trying to prove their point. That is not science. Anybody should know that. When you do science, you go in and you don't care what the result is. You're not biased one way or another. You're looking for the cause of an effect. But Bob Nodell is biased because he is looking for one result. And it's clouding his judgment. See? So yeah, this is I had to stop what I was doing. I stopped the show. I said, I got to make a video about this. This is unbelievable what's going on here. But yeah, you got people in the Flat Earth community calling for Bob to get out. And when someone comes along to his aid to help him out, to make him understand that he made a legitimate mistake and why, he turns on that person. So Bob, what can anybody do for you? Guy, listen, this is just my personal opinion, but the best thing that GLOBEBUSTERS and FE Core can all do right now is just disappear. Take your gyroscopes and your tests and experiments and go do them in your backyard. But trying to present yourselves as mainstream frontline flat earth people, but yeah, I just don't understand. This makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Bob showed his true colors. Shout out to Nathan Oakley. I'm proud of what you did, man. I know that feels bad when you set out to do something in the cause of right and good and end up getting turned on, you know, by a large group of people. That show has a large audience. So now you've got, I'm sure, half of that audience thinking Nathan is the bad guy here. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people that just jump on bandwagons and I'm, you know, pro, you know, no. I take things from, I do things and try to understand things based on the merit of that particular instance. I'm not always on Nathan's side. You know, I'll jump on Nathan just as fast as anybody else. He knows that. If I think he's wrong about something, I'm lighting into him just like I would anybody else. So this is not a thing that I'm just being pro Nathan, but in this particular instance, Nathan was absolutely correct and Bob could not have been more wrong. That was absolutely, I'm just repeating myself now. But these experiments that you got yourselves invested in, you're trying to invent phenomena. You're trying to create a reason to go looking for something. That's not how science works. The scientific method is, just like it should be, you observe a natural phenomena. Now, if you observe a natural phenomena and you can't vary the variables to show cause and effect, then you just need to accept that phenomena for what it is. Don't put a name on it. Don't try to understand it because you can't. You can't just say, well, you know, we have this phenomena, but there's no way we can test it, so we will just, we'll put a name on that observation, call it science, and let's move on. See, that's what the globe side has done. That's what they have done. Taken science and butchered it, and now we have the heliocentric model, all from butchering science. Nathan came on that show today to save these guys from themselves, from butchering science. But they're globe people now. It doesn't matter what your cause is or what you're fighting for. You might as well be globe people now because now you've got this investment. See, this is why I say, and I'll reiterate it again, the earth presents itself as flat and motionless. That's a 100% fact. Now, you know why I can stand by that and I don't have to worry about that? I don't have anything invested in that. I didn't go spend $1 million and invest in experiments to prove that the earth presents itself as flat and motionless. It does, all by itself. I don't have to do anything. And then people accuse me of being lazy because I don't go out and work. You should go out and do this and do that. For what? What am I going to do all of these things for? So that I can have an investment in something, and if it turns out not to be what I am invested in, now I'm stuck with it? Now I have to stick by it? No. Let the earth do its job. The earth knows how to present itself. It doesn't need all of these lab coat people to try to explain it and try to understand it and put it in their textbooks. The earth does what it does with or without you. The earth did what it did. It presented itself as flat and motionless before man ever came along. How do you think the earth got along without you before you got here in your experiments? See? You know, man is basically the enemy of nature. You got to just pick. The earth presents itself as flat and motionless, period. The sky presents itself as rotating overhead. Unless you can establish some variables to show cause and effect, then you just have to let that be. You can't say, well, you know, we can't manipulate, so we'll just build a model and manipulate that and apply that to the earth. Okay, listen, see.
That was pretty good. I might try to ask him on, see if he wants to do an interview. How's it going, Planet Hoax? If you want to come on, door's wide open. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna add in this little snippet of Nathan Oakley. I thought it was the best part of what he was saying. I think it was 53:30. We'll go a little bit earlier.
Of scientific
exactly,
method.
Arwin.
Right, so why couldn't you use the word experiment just in general, just to test
I'm
something
not.
out and try it out?
I'm not. Am I?
Oh, no.
Well, why are you
Bob
asking
is,
me? Ask Bob. Why are you using these words, Bob, when you haven't got the vaguest notion what they mean, Bob? Why is it that when you tell me you've done an experiment, a hypothesis test, and that science has proved the ether, why is it you can't tell me what an IV-DV relationship is? Why is it that you're trying to vary the bloody hypothesis live on air if you've already done an experiment? Why, Bob? Why? Why am I getting asked about what is needed to be done to produce an experiment when you've already claimed you've got one? Why is this not a hypothesis test if you're to claim that science proves the bloody ether? Well, let's see you prove it then. What's the hypothesis? Oh, I don't know about that bit. I've just got the magic word of experiment. Let's have a look at this guy and what he says about the Sagnac experiment. But it's not really an experiment. Even though it's in bold capitalised type on screen, I'm now going to call it an observation. So we have very literally observation with explanation being used as proof. It's an absolute outrage. If anybody cuts me off again, I'm going to start kicking people because I am furious about this, if I'm honest. I've listened to your opinions on it, and the fact remains we have in our midst, in Flat Earth, practitioners of pseudoscience. They haven't got the vaguest clue how to formulate a hypothesis and ask me on the fly if it's acceptable to substitute the independent variable for the dependent variable. Well, if I'm not going to call the gyro the dependent variable, would it be okay, Nathan, if we call the star rotation the dependent variable? Why am I the person who's pointing out that this is pseudoscience, the one being asked how to formulate the hypothesis when the experiment is a hypothesis test. So these pretender clown muppets are, in my view, no better than the pseudoscience pretender wiki parroting clowns who come on here and tell us Cavendish is science. Well, what's the IV and DV relationship? Oh, well, I don't know. I'll have a look. Oh, well, we've got more than one independent variable. We've got lots of them. Yeah, that's the kind of crap we get. From Bob, well, is it the star rotation or is it the gyro? Maybe you can tell me how we can make this experiment scientific. What the hell? You don't start with an experiment and then try and make it scientific. You start with the observation of a bloody phenomena, and then you try and explain what's causing it. If you're going to use scientific vernacular, not decide that you've got an experiment on your hands and then work backwards. That's what GLOBEBUSTERS are doing. And then going, oh, well, no, we'll just call it an observation then. So what? Observation and declaration? How fucking dare you, Bob, you pretender clown muppet. You think you can observe something and then declare that we've got ether? How dare you, pretender clown, pseudoscience, pretender clown, wiki parroting muppet. You've got no science and no clue how to even formulate a hypothesis, yet you're telling your audience that you've done experiments. Well, good for you. Net result of your fuckwittery is that you've got the entire ball community claiming you've proven the bloody earth spins with science. And you want to defend to me that you can continue to assert this garbage. So that's the bit that I would have done if I hadn't dropped on GLOBEBUSTERS in front of about 1,000 live viewers instead of my pittance of 322 people watching. Wow. Jesus.
We love you,
on my
Nathan.
own words.
We love you.
Yeah, it's
We love you, buddy.
not a big surprise there.
That was the greatest reaction. Oh shit.
That's a
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it's just really weird, mind-boggling. We've been through, like, if you're in Flat Earth, if you realize you're on Flat Earth, we've been through weirdness before. But, you know, we take it in stride now, I would say. It's weird stuff happens. Yeah, Planet Hoax. Let's go ahead and just switch it to the chat. And he goes, where do all these people draw the line? It's completely intellectually dishonest not to be skeptical of any space mission at this point. Flat or not? Yes, I agree. Flat or not, NASA ain't what they're supposed to be. One of the things I like saying with the whole NASA bit is they get what, $53 million a day? That's their budget. You could look it up. It might be plus or minus. It's pretty close to the dot, I think. Now, out of that, name one scientific experiment that they've conducted on the ISS. Just one. In the last 10 years. Anybody? Fry. Right? $53 million a day. You can't even remember one thing that they've done. One scientific experiment. You could probably remember all the times that they've done some tricks, you know, anti-gravity tricks up on their ISS. And that one scientific experiment that they've conducted. Okay. And I'm going to end on this. It's just this whole thing with the GLOBEBUSTERS and Bob and trying to use scientism to prove flat Earth. You know, it's much like it's like the One Ring in Lord of the Rings. It's like, hey, we've got the One Ring. Let's just use the powers that it has. You know, the same way it's been using its powers to for one side to use it for our side. It's never worked out good at all. Destroy the damn One Ring. Yeah, I agree, Planet Hoax. Man, I hope you do come on, show your face, and talk, and that would be awesome because you look like you're on top of things. Yeah. So that's it for this episode. I'm going to start up another one, a different topic. And so stay tuned. It'll be on in a few minutes. Thank you very much.